Okay, are we up? This is up.
Today on Rappler,
amounted to more than $12 million. When I say fresh
Ombudsman
deposits,
Conchita Carpio
they were
Morales
never
testifies
from
about
one
depositing
bank to
$12 million in 82 accounts of Chief Justice Renato Corona. Significant transactions in Corona's dollar accounts were done in election year 2004 and the week he was impeached by Congress.
All this mean? Where is it leading us to?
Well, it's leading us to a moment of truth.
And Ateneo School of Government Dean Tony Lavinia says the Ombudsman's testimony is the moment of truth in the impeachment trial.
Hello, I'm Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. We promise uncompromised journalism that hopefully inspires smart conversations and ignites a thirst for change. Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales takes the witness stand today at the Corona trial. Morales contests moves to name her a hostile witness on the basis of the investigation she started on at least $10 million in accounts of Chief Justice Renato Corona.
Your Honor, that is my mandate. If I am mandated by law to investigate, and I investigate the respondent, that does not make me an adverse person. So I had to discharge my mandate.
For the first time in the Corona trial, a witness uses a PowerPoint presentation to show evidence. The court earlier refused to allow prosecutor Arlene Bagao to use a PowerPoint to present evidence from a PAL labor union officer.
But as I said, Mr. Senator, his fresh deposits amounted to more than $12 million. When I say fresh deposits, they were never moved from one bank to another. They stayed in those accounts.
Very well. We'll have to plow through all this information. Thank you.
The Ombudsman gets the support of Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, who says the presentation should be allowed as long as it is material to the case.
Of evidence of a PowerPoint presentation, there is no categorical prohibition of such means of introducing evidence. The only question facing us is this relevant? I hold as a judge that this is relevant, therefore it should be admitted. And besides, it will help us considerably to reduce the hours that we might spend going over these items one by one. If there's a need for voting, I vote therefore for the PowerPoint presentation.
The Senator judges voted unanimously to allow the PowerPoint presentation. Using the power of visuals, Morales narrates the movement of dollars from one account in 2003 to 2011 when Corona had alleged $82 accounts for a total of at least $10 million in transactional balances in at least 5 banks. Significant transactions were made in election year 2004 and the week the Chief Justice was impeached. The Ombudsman says fresh deposits total $12 million. The impeachment court calls on Commission on Audit Commissioner Heidi Mendoza, a familiar face, to continue explaining the Corona dollars. Cuevas objects to Mendoza's testimony, saying it was Morales the panel asked to appear in court. Mendoza says the total inflow of transactions reached $28.7 million, while total outflow reached $30.7 million. Mendoza explains the outflow is greater than the inflow because these are transactions captured by AMLAC. Asked about Corona's peso accounts, Mendoza says she was told peso accounts reached 242 million pesos. A moment of truth. That's how Ateneo School of Government Dean Tony Lavinia describes the testimony of Ombudsman Morales. She provides 17 pages of the AMLAC report to the prosecution and the defense today. He adds, the Ombudsman is obviously the winner in the showdown with Chief Defense Counsel Serafin Cuevas. In your mind, Tony, what does all this mean? Where is it leading us to?
Well, it's leading us to a moment of truth. because and really I could never I never understood why the defense would call Ombudsman Carpio Morales. It's like calling her for a bluff. I mean, calling her bluff that she didn't have anything and she was just fishing. But obviously she has something. She has something very serious from AMLAC, a list of transactions apparently involving the Chief Justice or a namesake of the Chief Justice, certainly. So that's now going to come out. It's being Xeroxed or copied for the prosecution and for the senators as we speak. And so there now we're in a moment of truth in this trial.
Shadow of a Doubt author Marites Vitug, also Rappler's editor-at-large, notes it was typical of the Chief Justice to let his lawyers fight his case without the information they need. Fantastic. Marites, how could the defense be so wrong?
Our suspicion, and we've been talking about this, is that the Chief Justice was not forthright with his defense team. Apparently, he did not keep them informed. He wasn't upfront with them, because why would the defense subpoena the Ombudsman? So it's really not knowing, not having the information.
Tony, we saw a tug of war between... After Monday's earth-shaking revelations, let's find out how the defense is reacting. Joining us live from the Senate is Ayi Makaraig. Ayi, what happened today with the defense? How did they react?
Well, Maria, the prosecution and many of the people watching this trial call this a damaging day for the defense. But Corona's lawyers just shrug it off. Lead Defense Counsel Serafin Cuevas describes as a concoction the testimony of Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales. First, the defense is questioning the authenticity of the AMLAC report to the Ombudsman. Today, they filed a petition to subpoena AMLAC Director Vicente Aquino, citing a report where he allegedly denied that the AMLAC conducted an audit on the bank records of the Chief Justice. We have been trying to reach Aquino to confirm this, but he has not been responding. The second tack of the defense is to question the competence of Ombudsman Morales, saying her testimony was actually hearsay. Cuevas says that Morales' testimony was not based on her personal knowledge. Cuevas also says that Morales violated the right of the Chief Justice when she wrote him to explain the alleged $10 million. The lead defense counsel says this violates Corona's right against being a witness against himself. Here's what Justice Cuevas had to say.
Ano bang tinistiguhan ni Chief Morales? Una, these are all dollar accounts. Prohibited ang inquiry dito under Republic Act 6426. And yan, pinayagan. Ngayon, may denial na yung executive director ng AMLA. Wala raw siyang audit na ginagawa. So, yung concoction lang nila. She never testified that they were bank accounts. They were transactional accounts.
Tomorrow, the defense plans to establish all these contentions during the redirect examination of Ombudsman Morales. Cuevas also says that Corona's commitment to testify before the impeachment court still holds true despite what many believe was the damning evidence presented by the Ombudsman. Maria?
Ayi, it was an explosive moment today watching the PowerPoint presentation. You know, the focus was on the presentation, but I'd be interested to know, what did the defense lawyers, what did their faces look like, and what was the mood in the Senate hall while that was going on?
The defense panel was silent all throughout the presentation of Ombudsman Morales, and later on, the spokespersons were saying that there were times when Justice Cuevas wanted to object to that presentation, but as we saw, Senate President Enrile and the senators allowed the Ombudsman to go on and to testify. And another interesting thing to note is not just the reaction of the defense, but the reaction of the entire gallery during today's trial. As we saw, this was one of the most emotional and dramatic days in the 37 days that this trial has been ongoing. For the first time, we saw the gallery clap during the manifestation of Senator Santiago to allow Ombudsman Morales to continue with her PowerPoint presentation. And it was also very interesting seeing three sharp legal minds interacting with one another during the trial. We had Justice Cuevas, and of course, another retired Supreme Court Justice, Ombudsman Morales herself, and also back on the spotlight is the lead private prosecutor, Mario Bautista. So the exchange between the three of them was not just interesting, at times it was humorous. We saw Ombudsman Morales joking about her age and even joking about the fact that she said she was not used to millions. That's why she made a mistake when she said that it was $10,000 when it was actually $10 million. So interesting to see all that dynamics, that finally we see that this is the crucial phase. The trial is really entering the crucial phase, the home stretch, and all of this sets the stage for the testimony of the respondent himself, Chief Justice Renato Corona.
Thank you, Ai, for capturing the moments, telling us about it. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ai Makaraig, live from the Senate. Chief Justice Renato Corona describes the testimony of Ombudsman Morales as, quote, malicious and a lantern of lies. Corona also said he will debunk all of Morales' allegations and dared her to resign if she's proven wrong. Corona says, quote, the initial testimony of the Honorable Ombudsman is quite unfortunate, if not very malicious. Corona adds, the number of accounts alone is at best ridiculous. The Chief Justice adds, quote, either she does not know what she's talking about or is purposely misleading the impeachment court and the public. Well, let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 2, we have Filipinos who can now work in Iraq, but only for the Middle Eastern country's autonomous Kurdistan region. The government banned the entry of Filipinos in Iraq 8 years ago after truck driver Angelo de la Cruz was kidnapped and threatened with beheading. Filipinos continue to enter Iraq for work despite the ban. At number 3, JP Morgan's $2 billion loss on derivatives trade ends in the resignation of 3 senior executives, including the executive who oversaw the trade. At number 8, social network Facebook gets ready for its initial public offering. The company will be selling 337 million shares in its IPO. Brokers are calling Facebook this year's hottest stock issue. The chances of small investors getting a piece of the pie is small. And at number 9, Yahoo boss Scott Thompson steps down in the face of controversy over his allegedly inflated resume. Yahoo concedes the, quote, inadvertent error, and Thompson becomes the 6th Yahoo CEO to step down in 5 years. Palarong Pambansa ended over the weekend, with perennial overall champion, the National Capital Region, reigning supreme. The last day of the games was marred with the controversial win of NCR over Western Visayas in the volleyball finals for secondary boys, pushing both teams to boycott the event's awarding ceremony. DepEd's official regional standings puts Western Visayas at 2nd place and Southern Tagalog at 3rd. During the closing ceremonies, athletes and sports officials gathered while lanterns filled the sky.
Itong Pangasinan, pwede nyo pong sabihin nyo, napakaganda po ng nangyari sa Pangasinan. Masayang-masaya po, masayang-masaya. The scale of 1 to 10, I would like to say 10.
Well, that's Rappler's Newscast for today, Monday, May 14th, 2012. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter. I'm Maria Ressa. As we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today.